Hello students, today we are going to start a new topic called coordinate geometry. Although you have already done coordinate geometry in class 8 as well as in this year, that is in class 9th also, but I am teaching you coordinate geometry for the first time. Suppose you go to a picnic with your friends to a forest, and there when you were roaming around alone, you find a treasure at a point, but that treasure is so big that you cannot handle it alone. So you need more friends to bring that treasure home. So what you do, there is possibilities that if you go from that place and call your friends there, you might forget the place. So in that case, what you do, you have to locate that treasure. Now, how to locate that treasure, or how to locate a point in a plane? Suppose there is a river, straight river near the forest, and a road which runs perpendicular to the river and it goes through the forest. Now suppose the point at which the river is the road is crossing the river, there is a bridge. Clear? This is the bridge. Now you have found the treasure, say at this point. Okay, that is the situation. Now what we do, you start measuring from this bridge. For measuring the distance, you can use your length of your stride or whatever. If you have a measuring tape, you can use that also. Suppose starting from this point, if you go to this point, suppose this distance is a small, and then you turn 90 degrees towards left, and then when you measure this distance, suppose this distance is b. Now you can mark this point or that treasure as a comma b. That means from the bridge or the fixed point, if you move a distance along the road and then you turn towards your left at right angles and then you walk b distance inside the forest, you will reach the treasure which is a comma b. In this way, we can locate any point in a plane or even in space also. So when we locate a point, in a plane, we do that using two-dimensional coordinate geometry, because here only two dimensions are there, along the road and perpendicular to the road, means two dimensions are there only. But when we locate any point in the space, then it will be three-dimensional coordinate geometry. But three-dimensional coordinate geometry we will do in higher classes. Right now it is two-dimensional coordinate geometry. So you see, coordinate geometry is that branch of mathematics in which we use a fixed point and two perpendicular lines to locate a point. Clear? Now the fixed point which is O here, we denote it as O. The fixed point O is called the origin. The fixed point is called the origin. The horizontal line this horizontal line is called the x-axis. Clear? And this vertical line is called the y-axis. Clear? Now suppose this point is P. So from the origin to reach point P, first you walk a distance along x-axis, then b distance along y-axis. So that a comma b is called the coordinates of point P. So coordinates of point P is equal to a comma b. Always remember, in a coordinate the first number tells us the distance covered along x-axis from the origin to reach that point, and b tells us about the distance covered along y-axis to reach that point. Clear? A comma b. Now you know, as in the graph, right, when we move on right hand side on x-axis, we take that distance as positive, and when we move on the left hand side, we take that distance as negative. Similarly, along y-axis, when you move up, then we take it as positive, and when we move down, then we take it as negative. Clear? Okay, now this the number A is called the x coordinate or abscissa. It is called the x coordinate or abscissa of point P, and B is called the y coordinate or ordinate. It is called the y coordinate or ordinate of point P. So always remember abscissa and ordinate. Abscissa and ordinate. Abscissa is the x coordinate and ordinate is the y coordinate. Now tell me one thing. We want the coordinates of origin. Means the distance covered along x-axis and y-axis to reach origin from origin. So you know, to reach origin from origin, we don't have to cover any distance along x-axis or y-axis. Means the distance covered along x-axis as well as y-axis will be 0. That means coordinates of origin will be equal to 0, 0. The coordinates of origin will be 0, 0. The coordinates of origin will be 0, 0 always. Okay. One more thing. Suppose there is a point L on the x-axis, and the distance covered to reach L from origin is small m. So according to the rule, the distance covered along x-axis is m and the distance covered along y-axis is 0. We have not covered any distance along y-axis. So the coordinates of point L will be m, 0. So always remember, if a point lies on the x-axis, then its y coordinate will be 0. Okay? If a point lies on x-axis, then its y coordinate will be 0. Its y coordinate will be 0. If a point lies on the x-axis, then its y coordinate will be 0. Similarly, suppose there is a point R on the y-axis and this distance from the origin is n. Now you see, to reach R from origin, we don't have to cover any distance along x-axis. We have to cover the entire distance along y-axis, and that is the distance n. So it is 0, n. As we are covering no distance along x-axis, so it is 0, n. Now, if a point lies on y-axis, then its x coordinate will be 0. Its x coordinate will be 0. Okay? Clear? One more thing. This is called the first quadrant, this whole thing. This is called the second quadrant. Quadrant means 1/4. You know, quadrant means 1/4. So this is called the first, this is called the second quadrant, this is called the third quadrant, and this is called the fourth. So you have to remember the order. First, second, third, fourth. First quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, and fourth quadrant. Now, any point which lies in the first quadrant, you can see, for that, to reach that point, we have to move in the positive direction on the x-axis and in the positive direction on along the y-axis also. That means the coordinate, the x coordinate as well as the y coordinate, both will be positive on in first quadrant. Any point lying in the first quadrant, the sign of x coordinate and y coordinate both will be positive. Now in the second quadrant, if a point lies in the second quadrant, so to reach that point from origin, first of all you have to move in the left and then in the positive direction. That, and left means negative, that means the x coordinate will be negative and y coordinate will be positive. Clear? Now when a point lies in the third quadrant, negative, negative, left, down means x coordinate negative and y coordinate both negative. Clear? And now the fourth one, fourth quadrant, x coordinate we have to move in the right, so positive, and y coordinate will be negative, so that means it is plus comma minus. So always remember, in first quadrant both x coordinate y coordinate positive, in second quadrant x coordinate negative, y coordinate positive, third quadrant x and y both negative, fourth quadrant x positive but y negative. Clear? So these are basic terminology of coordinate geometry, and we'll do few questions now. Question. Name of the horizontal line. All of you know it is the x-axis. Name of the vertical line. It is called the y-axis. Okay. Name of the point of intersection of x-axis and y-axis is called the origin. It is called the origin. The point of intersection of x-axis and y-axis is called the origin. Now, for the next question, they have drawn a diagram. This point is H. This point is E. This point is M. There is L point. This is G. And there is point C. Now, coordinates of B. Now you have to find the coordinates of point B. Now you see it is -1, -2, -3, -4, -5 and 2. So the coordinates of B will be -5, 2 because it is on the negative side and then positive side for y-axis. Then the coordinates of C, second part, coordinates of point C. Now there is the C point, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but it is down to -5. So the coordinates of C will be 5, -5. The coordinates of C will be 5, -5. Then third, -3, -5 is the point. -3, -5, -1, -2, -3. This is -3 and this is -5, so it is E. The E point is -3, -5. Then 2, -4 is the point. 2, -4 is the G point. Okay, now the fifth part, the abscissa of point D. So here it is point D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 2. The coordinates of D, you can see it is 6, 2, and the abscissa, the x coordinate is called the abscissa. So the abscissa is 6 and the ordinate is 2. So your answer will be 6 here. Clear? Then the ordinate of point H. The ordinate of point H, you see your H, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, and then -1, -2, -3. So the coordinates of H is -5, -3. Abscissa is -5 and ordinate is -3. The y coordinate is called the ordinate. So here the ordinate is -3. Then coordinates of point L. L is here. It is 0, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it is 0, 5. As the point lies on y-axis, so its x coordinate will be 0. Then coordinates of point M, as this point lies on x-axis, so its y coordinate will be 0, -1, -2, -3. So it is -3, 0. So these are the answers to various parts of this question, and we'll continue with few more questions in the next class.